So I didn't see that same exact guy from Philly offered, but some similar offers here from other teams. This guy from the Yankees is pretty good defensively, but probably a bench player with his bat, and we don't really need an infielder. Although, could he play? I'm sure he could play good outfield. With actually, he can't, surprisingly. I'm sure he has those good hands playing the middle infield with that good turn double play rating. So, yeah, I didn't see the same exact guy offered from Philly. This guy was also offered from Colorado. We don't really need another infielder, as I've said. So, really, I want that guy from the Phillies. So the problem with Philadelphia is they cannot afford to take all of Molina's contract. So if we retain, probably have to retain a bunch of it, quite frankly. But I wonder if we can just take that money back somehow. How much of it do we have to retain? 70? I think 70 is the minimum. Try 65. Yeah, okay. So could we take that salary back in the form of a player? I would rather do that, most definitely. I don't think we're going to get Juan Mendez, but maybe we can get him for... No, okay, it would cost us DeYoung. Mendez, yeah, it doesn't hit enough for me to want to trade DeYoung for him, but he would be a nice catcher to have. Maybe we could try and build a package for him, I'm not sure. This guy wouldn't be bad to get. Cisneros. He looks like a starter in the long run. I don't know if we're going to be able to get him then. In that case, I thought he might just be a reliever. But let's see if they have any other relievers or... possibly even starters that would be worth taking. Luke Leftwich, who has good movement, seen as a leader in the clubhouse. I like that. He might not be terrible back-end guy. So now we can't afford him. What if we did straight-up swap? So now they have to retain some. What about 50%? What would it take? Still would take the young, so that's still unlikely to happen. Let's go back to... whoops. Go back. Let's see if we can build a package for Mendez. We'll retain 80% of the money on Molina. We'll also give up JJ Schwartz, and let's go to our top prospects. So we've rebuilt our farm system a little bit in like the last year or so with the draft, and I think we signed an international free agent. This was our first round pick last year, Ken Blask. We could need him at catcher, frankly, but we have some starters we could flip, possibly like Sarpong. And this gets them close, so we'd be giving up a top prospect for this catcher, but we would be able to do it. Studart is more the reliever long term. I'd probably rather give him up than the starter. But yeah, they obviously want the starter. Luis Pinzon, he was a second round pick. That gets it a little bit closer, but they don't quite want to do it yet. We could give up Bond, who's a first baseman with good hitting ratings. But doesn't seem to be much more than that. So it might be worth doing that then. Molina, Schwartz, Pinzon, and Bond. Maybe we don't even have to give up Pinzon. Could probably swap him for a lower level prospect. Actually, it would have to be Pinzon or Escobar, this reliever, who I think I'm fine giving up. Those ratings don't look too good. What our scouts think he's going to be doesn't look too good. What the OSA thinks he could be is a pretty solid reliever, but what our scouts think is nothing too special. And we get Mendez, so I think Mendez doesn't hit a ton, but very good defensive catcher. I think he'll be perfect. Bats left-handed, which I think we will need. So I think this is going to be a perfect deal. And we get Lane Plowman, who's going to fill a corner spot for us. Probably play left field. So this is the other option for us. I'm looking at this Jim Schmittinger guy, who is another corner outfielder for the Phillies, who probably grades out as a little bit better overall than Plowman, because he can play left field better defensively. And I look at my outfield situation. We have Cespedes, who I'm probably slotting in at right field next year, but he makes $6 million for 2 more seasons on his deal. Not a great hitter, so we could potentially upgrade with Plowman and Schmittinger, although I think that gives us 3 lefties. I guess Plowman's a switch hitter. He does hit righties better, though. Although I think I want to get both these guys. So if I want both these guys, it's going to cost me Pinzon on top of Ba, Escobar, Molina, and it will also cost me Jordan Groshans, who we claimed off of waivers last year. I could also just flip Cespedes in the deal. That's another option, which would free up some money for us. If I could do Cespedes, could I keep Pinzon? See, I would do Cespedes certainly if I could save one of these prospects. But I don't know if that's going to be possible. Okay, so we could do Riggs or Ramos. I don't know which of these guys is worse. Probably doesn't matter. Ramos looked like... And this is the guy I most want to save, John Bond, because he looks like he's going to be a pretty decent hitter. Probably a good hitter. Pretty good hitter at the major league level. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to. I'm probably going to have to give him up. See, I'm throwing Pinson back in, trying to not throw in Bond, but now they want Sarpong or Bond or Fisher. So I'm just going to have to throw in Bond. Probably save Pinson over Escobar, because Escobar is just a reliever. I don't really think he's that good in the first place. So we'll save Pinson. And I think I'll have to throw in Riggs or Ramos. And alright, this is going to be the full deal. Luis Molina, Ricardo Cespedes, Luis Escobar, Alex Riggs, and John Bond for Lane Ploman, Juan Mendez, and Jim Schmittinger. And how much money do I have to retain on Molina to do this? Probably like 30? No, probably closer to 50. Let's try 45. Nope, it's going to have to be at least 50. 55 it is. Alright, so that just works for Philadelphia. And okay, this is going to be the final deal. So Molina, we have to pay $1.6 million of his salary for this upcoming year, which is alright, not the end of the world. Not ideal, but alright, it's a pretty big trade. We get 3 guys who I think are going to help us from Philly. And 3 young guys, too. Guys who are going to be team controllable for a while. I think this is really going to be a trade that helps us not only this year, but for the next couple of years. Gives us a little bit of an underlying foundation under the Correa, Devers, Coronel sort of mix that we have. Guys who are making a lot of money. Now we have guys who aren't going to make a lot of money, which is going to be good. So this is what it's looking like right now. We have Schmittinger, Robles, and Ploman slotting in there. Ploman out in right field. I don't know about that. I think I would rather play Schmittinger. That's the thing. We don't really have a good defensive right fielder. I think Schmittinger would be the better guy in right field in the long run because his outfield arm isn't bad. So I think I'm gonna player lock him probably with player strategy to right field. 4 start at right field. And then I think Ploman will play in left. But other than that, the lineup is looking pretty good now. We have Turner slotting in the 9 hole. And a good righty-lefty mix, I think. No DH. Peralta hitting the pitcher 8th. I don't totally hate that. But in the past, I flip-flopped on that a little bit. Because I know in optimized lineups, a pitcher does hit 8th. I still don't really understand the logic behind it, but it is what the numbers say, apparently. So that's pretty much all I know about. That's why I'm not going to be like strong on one side or the other. I just don't know enough about what the numbers say as to why it's more advantageous to hit the pitcher 8th. But I've seen optimized lineups are pretty crazy. So looking at the money we have available now, it's only $2.6 million, and that was with getting rid of the Cespedes contract. So it's going to be tough. We are going to try to fill out the bullpen with relievers, but I think maybe I'll try to trade J.J. Schwartz for a cheap reliever. Maybe we could bring De Leon back. I know he struggled last year, but he's not looking for really any money at all. $1.7 million. Could bring him back if he would sign back with us. I would obviously be using him out of the bullpen. And yeah, I'd rather have him over I think any of these other cheap options. And no trade offers for J.J. Schwartz, so we're probably just going to hope that we sign De Leon, and certainly going to have to make it probably an in-season trade or 2 to fill out this bullpen. But we're going to go into next year with the rotation of Snell, Faedo, Honeywell as the top 3. Hopefully Honeywell bounces back, and hopefully Faedo stays healthy. And then maybe Glasnow, maybe he finally breaks out. Probably not, because he's 32 now. And I do regret not looking for a trade for him. But, oh well, it's something we can certainly do mid-season still. It's always interesting to look at the Hall of Fame in this game. I'm kind of surprised to see Roy Halladay looking like he's not going to get in. This is his 8th year on the ballot, and he's only at 13.7%. The metrics, they're pretty borderline. A lot of them have him just under. Black Ink has him above average, but I look at it, he's 60 career WAR as a pitcher, and look at his peak seasons. He had 4 seasons of 7 or more wins above replacement. That is, like, at the peak of his game, he was, you know, almost as good as they came. Never a big strikeout guy, but he had that awesome sinker, and he was really, really good. I'm surprised that he's not going to make it into the Hall of Fame. I saw Beltre made it in his 2nd year here. Beltran, I think he'll eventually get in. And I think he'll get in real life, too. He is 60 career WAR. And certainly a good... I think he'll be interesting debate, actually, because he was such a big-time player in the postseason. He's kind of a borderline candidate based on his regular season resume. Ichiro's certainly getting in. I'm very surprised that he wasn't first ballot. Kano's case is interesting. I think he's a little bit short. He didn't do enough in those last few years in Seattle, but he could very well have a good, solid career in Seattle in real life and potentially get in. Pedroia has an outside chance. I don't think he'll get in at the end of the day, though. Sabathia had an outside chance. I think his window's kind of closed. I don't think he'll get in. And DeLeon does sign, so that fills one more spot in our bullpen. It's going to be a patchwork bullpen to start the year, certainly, but maybe we'll find some guys off waivers. We have one lefty in there, at least in Dave Lumen. I'm probably just going to, well, we'll keep Sale on the team for now, but I'm sure he'll end up getting DFA'd at some point. So we are back. It is opening day. This is a very weird opening schedule. We don't play opening day. We play a game, have an off day, play a game, have another off day, and then go to Baltimore. It's a weird 2-game series to start the year, but okay. So we suffered 2 pretty big injuries in spring training. Let's send these guys down to AAA. But 2 injuries. No one's out for the year, but we're going to be without Carlos Correa for about a month with a sprained elbow, and Jim Fisher for 2 more months with forearm inflammation. He suffered that a little early in the month of March, so he was out for 3 months at the time, and Correa was out for 6 weeks at the time of his injury. 5 to 6 weeks. I guess it's actually just 5 weeks because he's got 4 left now. So he's going to be out for about a month, and we are going to be using Yaisen Koka and probably a little Jordan Groshans in his place. Right now we have 1 extra guy on our bench, I think. Probably going to send Mike Donnelly down because he doesn't really have a... I guess he could play a little shortstop if we wanted to keep Turner at second base in the absence of Correa. So we could keep Donnelly over Koka, but Koka was not bad last year in the small sample. Probably want to keep him, but I think I'd rather have him play shortstop than Turner. So I'm going to player lock Turner at second base, I think. And then I'm not able to switch it now, but here we go, update. I guess this is a new, they changed this in one of the new updates, I guess. They changed the way this screen looks. That had been confusing me, but now it's between Groshans and Koka as a shortstop, which is fine. If they want to platoon or just figure it out, I guess they can't platoon because they're both righties. But whatever. We'll probably send Donnelly down in that case, even though he has to be DFA'd. And I think we have room for one more pitcher then, I guess, because that gets us down to 24. So we'll probably try to claim somebody off of waivers if possible. But for now, I think Camarena almost got a job out of spring training. Let's call him up. He almost got the job over Lumen out of spring training. But, oh no, I guess we had room for Donnelly because I forgot without the DH we need 5 bench guys now. That makes sense. Or we could carry an extra pitcher. But we'll probably go with 5 bench guys, honestly. Probably just keep Donnelly. I'm sure he won't get claimed. But even if he does, I might, or even if he doesn't, I might give his spot to someone I claim off of waivers because I'm sure there are going to be some good guys off waivers, especially I am going to be needing to look for relievers, and it doesn't look like there are really any good relievers. There's this Gage Hins guy from Pittsburgh who makes $2 million, who isn't terrible. He's on Chicago now. He was traded in the offseason. Austin Riley, Abraham Gutierrez. There really aren't any relievers though. This guy, Goatwalt, who has been a starter in the past, doesn't make any money. Andy has the gift of gab apparently. Okay, Tony Bullard, probably fine. Just going with my guy Jamie Lucas instead. But I'll try to claim this guy. Why not? And I don't think I'm going to claim Gage Hintz. Other than that, I'm just going to keep an eye on the waiver wire. But, alright, that is going to do it for this episode. We'll see if we get these guys off of waivers. Why not? Or this one guy, really. It's not these guys. We'll see if Donnelly gets claimed. I don't think he will. And Mike Gerber's available. Some decent names available, but no one that really fits a need for me. I could look at infielders, too, in the absence of Correa, but we did get Gottwald, so we can send down... We'll probably keep him. I might keep him in DFA limbo for a little bit. Jose De Leon did win the 5th starter spot over Lara. Lara had a really bad spring training, and he was good out of the bullpen last year. De Leon had a really good spring as a starter, so we're going to try him in the rotation. I don't think he will stick, but we will see how it goes. Snell won game number 1 for us, an 8-0 win, so it's a good start to the year. But that is going to do it, so I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. As always, let me know what you thought of the moves we made. I'm pretty excited. I think we've got some good players on the team now, some good controllable players, some good expensive players, but a good base, a good foundation, a good core of position players to go along with our starters, and hopefully we will be able to piece it together with the bullpen. But that is going to do it, so I hope you guys did enjoy. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'm out. Peace.